this is a good place to start. This is a self-portrait. The idea behind this is I was working at the music venue in Utrecht called Echo, and the shifts were night shifts. Like, I was doing lights at the club nights, and it would be very late, and the energy of the room was just completely opposite to mine. Because everyone's partying and I am here working, and like, of course I could be really into the whole party vibe,
But you have to focus.
but I have to focus. And over time, like at this time, not now, but like then, I was a little bit not feeling great, so, but I kept to myself, like, very stoically. So this is kind of just a representation of that. But like, if you were just to consider this, you wouldn't necessarily associate it with this disco ball. And so I just kind of, it's called a self-portrait because I have both of these sides.
Yeah.
So, all right. This one I drew while on tour, and it's kind of to show how, in a dynamic where it feels there's opposing sides and they're like dueling or, battling it out, there comes a moment sometimes when the person is just already on a higher level and just moves up, and this person is trying to fight somebody who's not really there. And I have multiple drawings which kind of are on this thought. It's like,
he's on a higher plane.
it's like, fighting something that isn't really there. You're not really going for what you think you are, and it's the wizard who's just
ascended,
and it's like, fight the dust, it's like, I've moved on. So this is this is actually my hand, a photo of my hands, just picking the apple. It's like, maybe it has something to do with entropy, because when you pick an apple, it dies. So I think it's just a beautiful moment to capture in a drawing. This originally, this figure wasn't here. I wanted to draw like people walking on a plane, and there to be some sort of figure which is somehow over top of the whole thing, is like vertically, kind of like the wizard, is in different planes of existence, but it with just like this, it looks like he's in the foreground. And so I didn't like that, so I drew this, which I think captures it better, what I was going for. Like some dotted line figure on top of these, and then I cropped it like this, so the actual drawing is like that. Oh, this was for a friend in Cologne. Ultimately, this logo didn't get used, but the sort of brand that he, for lack of a better word, his whole thing is a flagless studios, flagless productions. So this wasn't just an idea I came up with, but didn't get used.
Yeah, that's cool.
This has to do with Platonic solids and the sort of structure, the visual language of sacred geometry. And I've been exploring that as another tradition of visual symbolism. But I'm also wanting to explore what new meanings can you create when you have something which completely doesn't abide by the structure and is just like kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's such an interesting contrast. There's something to explore there.
The two opposites.
Yeah. Let me grab from. This was I remember it was like this time last year, for whatever reason, I was motivated to take reduce like church windows to the most basic elements of it, and then for some reason add a spiral as the halo, kind of like to suggest that you look at these figures and like you're supposed to zoom in mentally on the thing, like an icon.
Or you get hypnotized.
Maybe. This is the ophanim, the biblically accurate angel, which just I think is such a crazy. You said it was like a higher frequency form.
Yeah.
I think yeah, and it following this. So like on Instagram, I posted these two. They were in sequence, and I feel like it's such a crazy thing to have a drawing of this high frequency being and then a depiction of the reality, which is you're just looking at it on a phone. It's like
in the one dimension.
Yeah, like it helps you become aware of just how ridiculous this situation is. You're looking at, like, you're trying to think of this insane concept.
Yeah, through a phone.
Through fucking, like, that's what's happening. So I don't know. Both those.
I really like that one.
Yeah. This is called Victory Over the Sun. It was just a sketch. I tried to do it with an ultra-fine point Sharpie, but it actually looks like terrible on this. But it's like...
wow. It's like a game.
Kind of, yeah. It's inspired by Russian avant-garde play by Malevich. He's a Russian avant-garde painter. I made a video about him already. But he made a play called Victory Over the Sun, and I just think that's, without going too deep into it, it's just an interesting concept. Like, what if it's eclipsed by a square instead of a circle? This is a combination of the EU flag symbol and the chaos symbol.
What is the chaos symbol?
It's actually an 8-pointed, if you think of like arrows pointing up, down, left, right, and then the split difference here. So it's only 8-sided, but it's now 12, and they're not connected at the center. It's just like expanding out.
And there's a dot in the middle in the original one?
Yeah, with the chaos symbol, it's supposed to be connected to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, this one was supposed to follow the one with the Instagram phone you're holding.
The angel.
Because and we mentioned earlier like how meta is. If somebody is very paying attention and knows the esoteric knowledge, they will know that meta has something to do with the angel Metatron. And Metatron's cube is the structure, the sacred geometric structure, which contains all the Platonic solids. Just an interesting...
Fun fact.
Fun fact. I won't go into it deeper. Here's the Virgin holding the Christ child who's become corrupted upon birth, really, because religion and the implementation of it is, I believe, always doomed to be flawed. It's going to be imperfect. And this is kind of like suggesting that the birth of Jesus, what's supposed to be a positive event, as the guy who offers hope for humanity, is also a very dark moment in history, and because he himself knew that he would be misconstrued, and what would come after him would be misconstrued, and I would like to think that Mother Mary knew this, and that's part of her sadness could be explained not simply by losing or knowing she's going to lose her son, but knowing that what her son could end up coming in vain.
Yeah, for nothing.
It's just a thought. I'm not saying that's what it is, but
Disclaimer.
Aside, I like this shape. I drew on tour with some star thing. This somebody will recognize. I was trying to make a concept of what if a $sign is actually the snake or serpent from the Garden of Eden that tempted Adam and Eve to eat the apple. Ghost face, the Holy Spirit. That's what the Holy Spirit looks like. That's the facial expression of the Holy Spirit.
It's unseen footage.
Another church window thing. Disclaimer, I am not religious. Another one. This one I really like. It's called empathy. Because the idea is, if everyone has a gravitational weight, if this is to be a depiction of a person, then a person with empathy, with greater empathy, somebody who understands somebody else, would be able to capture that person's experience. And even though both people are infinite, perhaps it's possible for something else, some other person or whatever, to be able to swallow the experience of somebody else. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's what empathy is supposed. This is a visual representation of empathy. Yeah.
I empathize.
This is, when I posted this on Instagram, it didn't have these, but it's simply called values. It's like a value pyramid. And I posted it upside down as well, suggesting that the value pyramid is inverted. What the value pyramid is, I don't know.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. This is called incompatible with the word in parentheses, So it's like, are they compatible or are they incompatible? And this kind of has to do with relationships.
Yeah.
So just because it fits, does it mean it's there's a compatibility there? Should the puzzle piece fit exactly?
Is it good enough
for it to be compatible? Is it good enough? Yeah. So, very, very simple drawing, but has a lot of meaning, I think. This is quite dark. I mean, a line of, I don't know. Just, that one's just dark. This is, called Love and Death, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I have posted this one on Instagram as well, and I didn't have this speech bubble here. I think it kind of changes the meaning because I shouldn't have I should have left it just this and the sun, and that's what I did. But the actual drawing still has this. But
too early for what? Too late for what?
Is it the right time?
For the sun to go out?
No, for the relationship, because I call this one modern romance. So yeah, it's kind of dark as well somehow, because the sun, which overhangs the couple, is supposed to suggest that there's some
something
trauma or some darkness, which either one of them has experienced to get to this point. And in some relationships there's a person who has it's true that maybe someone in a relationship loves the other more, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But it's also true that someone may have more trauma than the other, or I think that's what this is suggesting. I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's more interesting without the speech bubble though. So
We'll take it out.
did I already explain that?
Yeah.
I think. This one's just like
Checking your pulse.
pulse check, yeah. This one you liked. Niet duiken, which means no diving. As you can see, you know, there's nothing to...
No deeper meaning.
There's no deeper meaning because there's nothing there, you know? It's just like... Is it a I kind of meant it for it to be a commentary on Dutch culture, that maybe shots fired, but...
Shots fired.
But, you know, the land here is flat. The
People
canals are shallow.
Yeah.
Does that also mean the culture is also flat and shallow, and the people too?
That's very interesting.
But that's, you know, it's just, at this point, that's speculation. This is just a drawing. You get what you get right here. So.
Yeah. Are these for sale?
I've thought about it. I'm sure somebody would be interested. This one, I think, is interesting because, like, in a divided world, let's say, where there's borders, people in different cultures could be doing opposite things, but someone who is, you know, going against the grain in one culture may just be doing what somebody else, what the majority is already doing in another culture, you know?
That's very cool.
And
Wow.
so it's like, how unique is this arrow?
Depends on the
It depends on the
context.
context, yeah. So
Wow.
this is a representation of context.
Wow. I think this is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is called boxes, and whenever you put somebody in a box, you're never capturing their full selves, you know. So, and any attempt to put somebody or something in a box will always result in a reaction because you're missing something. So fuck you for
I'm not seeing the whole picture.
for not seeing the whole picture. You're missing it. This is like, I call this one assumptions, because often when assumptions are made about a person, they go for something that isn't really there. It's like you're casting assumptions at a person who's not there. It's only of your imagination.
You're projecting.
Yeah, that's like projection is another name for this one. So the arrows are always missing the target because the target's not even there. So this one's just simply called time or fall.
Time falling.
Time falling, yeah, on the back of a.
But what is this?
It's actually
It's your neck.
That's an X-ray of me. Forget what year it was. 2022, 23.
After a show.
No. I think they was just checking for scoliosis or something. But it's my fucking.
Wow, you have a really long neck. I can see it now.
This one's called Power. Yeah. What is power? Where does it come from? I don't know where power comes from. Yeah.
Maybe here, I guess.
Is this powerful then?
Yeah.
This is called interpretation. I started drawing a crowd of people to kind of show a divide, but I thought it's more interesting just to leave this sign. So. This one I never posted on Instagram, but it's about.
Shots fired.
Well, yeah,
AI
I mean,
psychosis.
yeah, it's highlighting like the people who use AI or rely on chatgpt are going into such a crazy dopamine feedback loop that they're just a helpless monkey, you know, that's driven by drugs, you know, that at this point. So
Well, at least he's happy.
at least he's happy, but the question is how sustainable
Yeah.
is that happiness? Because when you take away the chatgpt whatever, then you're screwed. You don't know how to exist.
Yeah.
And that's the danger of any drug. You know, of course you're happy when you're on it, but what happens when you're not?
That's a good question.
This one I really like. It's called Tortoise and Hares. You know, we know that the slow and steady wins the race,
Yeah.
and that the tortoise wins in the story. But damn, it can sure feel like everyone else is a hare and you're a tortoise.
Yeah.
And you're on your back.
I can relate.
It sure can feel like that sometimes. This one, it's not really that meaningful. I didn't even color this one in. Just self-portrait, I guess. I don't know. This is missing somebody, let's say.
Yeah.
And the person literally is missing. So, more matryoshka dolls, nesting dolls, and I wonder, like, when you block out the external, highlighting the internal, what is the relationship with something that has the external, but the internal is blocked out?
It's
I think
like
it's just interesting.
like a yin yang.
Yes. Yeah. Except with nesting dolls. This is I don't know what to call this one, but that
Sadness.
yeah, I think it was inspired by a feeling of exhaustion more than anything, and like exhaustion on a level where you just a sort of exhaustion which is humbling, where the ego just dies, and there's a sadness to that. Yeah, I won't go into much more. This one's called Vanity, because this is actually inspired by that one Dutch painting where the skeleton is like in a skewed perspective.
Oh yeah.
I guess it has something to do with social media, the attention we give to
Being judged all the time.
reflections and judgments and something like that. This one I like. Just running into a corner, because never does it occur that when you're running at high speed, however figuratively that running may be, that there may be obstacles, and they may come very suddenly, as in this case, because, that's pretty fast if you're in midair, and then it's the corners right there, Running away into a corner, actually. Because...
Poor guy.
yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. Maybe that's another way to put it.
Yeah.
This is this was the first exploration of very opposing, contrasting forms.
Yeah.
I went to an art exhibition in the center of Amsterdam, and the exhibition had a lot of like smooth forms in the paintings, and it was very sensuous and very like evocative of indulgence and like parties, raves, feeling and touching and all of this, like, but nowhere in that gallery was there an object which was sharp and pointed and very like angular and edgy. And I thought, and I myself in that gallery felt like I was the only one who had that property in me, that characteristic of being like very sharp and pointy. And so I was walking around that gallery space and I felt that there's something missing and I'm in a bubble. So I went home and I made this drawing
Yeah.
And I felt like
That's what's missing.
I'm that, and this is my surroundings, and I call it soft surroundings. Peace now, or posters in midair.
It's very political.
Because I see a lot of this is kind of like a trend, at least as far as I know, it's in Utrecht, but also in other cities in the Netherlands, to have this poster. I forget who designed it, but it's in the window, and it's like just another example of the sloganization of politics in a way into meaningless statements.
Peace now, but for who?
Peace now, but like, what the hell does that mean? Like, how do you? What is that a political proposal? Is like, so it that's what that really is, and especially it feels even more futile and more meaningless when it's just becomes papers blowing in the wind. Is wind, what does peace mean? That there will be never any wind?
It's still very windy.
It's still very windy.
Yeah.
Helen Keller, this is one of my favorites. Because Helen Keller, if you don't know, was a woman in the early 20th century, I think, maybe late 19th century, who at the very young age, like before, maybe a few months old as a baby, whatever, she became blind and deaf from a sickness. Being blind and deaf at such a young age kind of dooms you, because you can't communicate with anybody or anything, and you don't know how to understand the world around you when you have the two most important senses just gone. Yet still, if you look up her Wikipedia page, you'll find she has a signature. How does a person who doesn't, from a young age, understand the concept of language, much less what the purpose of writing a language is, how does that same person later in life, still being blind and deaf, how are they able to make their own signature? Obviously, they've made so much progress in their development as a person, and despite being so hindered, I think that's just an amazing thing, and that's what this represents.
So there are no excuses.
Yeah, there are no excuses. So this lady was basically born blind and deaf, and she accomplished that at least. She even wrote a book. Hold up, let's save this one for last. These are actually two really important ones. This one is called Dog Barks at Picture of Window. And it was like a revelation when I drew this, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the idea.
The meaning of life.
It just feels like all around people are misidentifying the thing which they think that they're identifying. What like, this dog has lost the plot completely, has been conditioned on multiple levels. Because think about it. Let's walk through this. Yeah. A dog barks at threats to itself or the owner, whatever. So a dog which is inside a house and is looking out a window and sees a threat, often which it misidentifies as just like the postman or you taking a walk. It's barking. Often the owner's not home. Now imagine a dog who has now been conditioned to bark at windows, and not just a window, but now is barking at pictures of windows. Where was the original intent has been lost? Where is the threat?
It's like Plato's cave.
Yeah, and we're all a bit like this dog, I think. We completely lost the plot. What are we doing? And that's the чёрный квадрат, the black square, which I made a video about. That's it, really. I mean, I have more drawings, but just grab this collection.
Any last words?